So he'll be sharing more on the practical case study on the various workshop that I think has been taken place in the last 2 to 4 years within the Malaysian government. Over to you, Hasan Ganny.
Okay, so I'll do just a quick sharing on the case study of the digital enterprise architecture in the public sector, very much focus on the customer journey. Okay. Okay, when we talk about the customer journey, we also do the reference to the business reference model from MyGov EA. Okay, so basically we'll be looking into the business domain areas, okay, which has the business service categories and also the subcategories. So when you talk about the business area domain, there are 5 domain areas that we look into the customer journey from the social economic sector, social sector itself, the security sector, the government supporting, and also the government resource management. Okay. So for each of these sectors, then we have the services, okay, that is being provided. Basically, when you talk about the social sector, it's very much on the G2B, okay, and social sector is talking about the G2C to the citizens or the customers. Security sector will have both G2B and G2C, whereas the supporting will have all, including the employees, which is the penjawat awam. And for the resource management, it's G2D and also the G2E. Okay, so these are some of the explanation on the domain. So basically, the social sector is talking about, okay, directly provided by the government, the services provided directly by the government or on behalf of the citizens to local or foreign companies. Or social sector also refers to the services provided directly by the government on behalf of the citizens. Security is very much to ensure the country is running in a safe and also secured manner. The government support services is very much on the public sector. Okay, looking into the policies, the ACTAs, the strategic planning, and also the support operations. And finally, the government resource management is talking about all the support activities to enable the government running efficiently. Okay. So I'll just share some quick slides on the sectors. Okay. So each of the social sectors, socio-economic will have the business, industry, and support, economic management, the trade, facilitation, and they have their subcategories, okay, by itself. So each of the services actually will fall in one of these categories, okay. So similarly for the social, we have the employment. This is very much touching on our citizens. Employment, the education, the healthcare, okay, and so on. Security is very much on the defense, the justice, okay, and also the security. Support services very much on the public sector itself. We're also talking about the knowledge and information exchange, the governance part of it, okay, the statistical services. And finally, for the resource management, these are very typically the administration, the finance, the backend, I'm talking about human resource, ICT, and so on. Okay, so looking into the services that we provide, we always look to what Gartner says. Okay, Gartner is saying that services in the future are the one that actually looks into outside out. Currently, we are actually focusing on inside out. That means whatever services that we have, we provide to our customers. Then we look into the perspective of outside in, okay, from the customer perspective. And moving forward is the ecosystem whereby the services that is given by the government is done by many parties, okay, together, including the other agencies, plus also the private sectors. Okay. So we have seen this before from Dr. Is. We are looking into the live event. Okay, the customer journey will look into the live event from birth up to death. Okay, so there are many services that's been provided, okay, during our journey in our life. Okay, so mainly the focus area in this case study will look into the people that are OKU, students, and also the job seekers. Okay, so these are the services that they might be looking into. When a student goes to school, they need some financial aid. And then when they grow up, they need to have their driving license. They go for get work. Okay, there's employment. And after that, of course, they have their pension services that needs to be considered. Then some of them will be going into business, okay, and so on. So taking all these things into consideration, okay, we look into different tracks of the clusters, okay, different tracks of the clusters, looking into the agriculture and also the trade, the transportation, infrastructure, education, talking about the healthcare, security, and also a track looking into the implementation on the performance of the projects, okay, taxation and excise, and also the human resource. Okay. So the approach that we took, okay, to do this live event or customer journey is looking into a customer journey map workshop approach, okay, whereby we have gathered all the various tracks agencies, okay, into a series of workshop series, so that we actually look into how we can actually target for each of the government services is given to different service clusters. Okay, if you look at this diagram, this is one of the sessions that we held. Many of them actually attend, and was also officiated and facilitated together with Dr. Is. Okay, she's there. So one good thing that we have in this session is to include the business people. Very important actually to have the business people together with the IT people. And one of the things that we found is that the business people, once they understand the customer journey mapping techniques and approach, they actually take over and run the entire session by themselves. Okay. Okay, so for this example, we look into some of the persona for the rakyat. Okay, rakyat means in the citizens, and focusing on OKUs, okay, pencari kerja and pelajar. The reason why we included things like OKU because some of the services that has been given, or even the IT system that has been designed, caters for normal people. So we need to also look into how actually we cater for everybody, okay, access to everybody, inclusive of the OKUs and every citizen and non-citizen, okay, that's living in our country. So from all the 9 tracks, we actually came out with like 17 initial personas, okay, starting from pencari kerja, okay, job seekers or business seekers, okay, running a food truck business. Okay, we also talked about how to encourage people to become a modern petani, okay, and then we have people who wants to pick up and doing Grab. So of course, the transportation industry plays a very important role. Pembeli kereta, okay, purchaser of the car, then a student who after finishing SPM, okay, and so on. Okay, we have the pekerja, job seekers, we have even the kanak-kanak autism. How actually we actually treat kanak-kanak autism. We have also a teenager, belia wanis, okay, who had a problem in studying the normal academic curriculum, but pursuing in other areas, okay, to look into what are the opportunities that the government actually prepares for them. In the healthcare, we also look into kanak-kanak obesity because one of the key problems, okay, in the country where growing adults becoming more and more obese, and it starts from the child itself. Okay, so education and healthcare plays an important role in this area. Okay, then doing business online, okay, seeking or getting the scholarships, okay, up to buying the house, and also somebody who's having a critical illnesses in the government servant, okay, how is they are being treated and so on. Okay, so the one of the techniques that is being used is the design thinking techniques, okay, whereby we gather the people in a group, okay, using simple tools, like the sticky notes, okay, using the margin paper, and we use the entire wall in all the seminar rooms, okay, or the workshop rooms to actually plot the customer journey and use that as the discussion point. Okay, so we use sticky notes, to place the services, the touch points, and it's easier for us to actually move things around. Okay, so that you can adjust and see where the services have been, been done or taken place. What are the channels been used? Okay, and also highlighting all the different types of persona. Okay, in the customer journey. Okay, this is where I mentioned that business slowly, once they know about this technique, they actually can actually design what's happening currently and look into the pain points and also identify which are the areas for them to improve. Okay, so very active participation, okay, from everybody. And yeah, and this one of this group actually, if you look at this room, all the other tables are empty because they came in early, okay, just after lunch to start their discussion, okay, because they want to solve some of the real problem that they had in their agency. So a very active participation and churning out all the actual issues, trying to position from the end customer's point of view. And we ourselves are also customers, okay, or citizens that actually render or get services from the government, and they're able to relate some of the challenges. Okay, so here's one of the example how we craft the customer journey map. Okay, by looking into a persona. Okay, for this case, this is Ahmad Hassan. So we do a fictitious persona, taking a name, an age, and then how this person wants to be a petani modern. And then we plot all the customer journey. Okay, we put there must be a kajian to be done, then there's a bantuan, financial aid to be given, and in this agency, okay, they provide all these services or all these journey steps that they provide to a particular petani, okay, a farmer. Okay, so in this case, after getting the aid, they also provide how to increase their skills in the modern technology farming. Okay, and then also run the operations of the farming, and then do the marketing, the selling part of it, and how actually they grow the business. Okay, and we highlight all these touch points and then putting all the interactions, and that's our coding. Okay, the numbers, the codings are all the emotions, whether they are happy in getting the services or they have some challenges, okay, in the getting the services. Okay. And also we identify all the services that's provided by the agencies. Okay, if you look at here, there's Mara, there's a Pusat Latihan that's taking place, there's agriculture agencies that's involved, okay, and many other players. Okay, they have also the Kementerian Sumber Manusia. So one good thing about this customer journey is it looks at the end-to-end holistic ecosystem and the value chain from end-to-end processes. Okay, then highlighting all the agencies and also the external agencies that is involved in providing the services. Okay, so this is another example. This is Najib, age 29. This is assistant engineer. Okay, he's been married with and he wants to buy a house. Okay, so buying a house in Malaysia is also challenging, especially those who wants to get the bantuan kerajaan or rumah bantuan kerajaan. Okay, so there's many touch points where they have the hasrat, the intention to buy, then they do research where to buy it, and then the purchase takes place, and then they sit in the, they occupy the house, and maybe they will do a process of selling the house. So it's looking into the entire journey and what are all the agencies that's involved. And these touch points will talk about the different types of channels that's been involved and what is the emotion. Okay. So emotions are very important to capture so that we can look into the services that's been given and how we can improve those services. So we identify the customer, the persona, and then the next step is to do all the customer journeys. Okay. So in this case, you have the homeowner application, you have the assessment, then you have the implementation, the monitoring, and also the maintenance. And then you have all the touch points, different types of channels, and the emotions, okay, that actually takes place in each of the touch point. So typically a customer journey will cover these areas. But when we do our services from ATD and together with Mabu, we actually added this product and services. Okay, as one of the added point, so that we can look into what are the deliverables, the output, the application being used, and also who are actually giving the services. Okay, so from here we try to link the customer journey, okay, together with the enterprise architecture. Okay, so these are four key areas that we actually will look into components to actually use the customer journey together with enterprise architecture, so that the enterprise the customer journey that actually we plot is actually digitized into a particular architecture. Okay. So this is the customer journey we plot into the enterprise architecture notations using Archimate, and we have the business processes on the top, and then all the channels, okay, and also the business services that's been provided, and we have all the interaction points, the touch point, and emotion being captured. Okay, next we look into their capability. So what capability is needed to provide all these services? Okay, the capability and also all the resources. Okay, the resources comes in through, okay, whether it's the role, the agency is playing the role, the data, the application, and the technology being used. And then we identify all the gaps, and we consolidate all the gaps and opportunity into a project, and then we plot all the project based on the priority. Okay, whether it's looking into the complexity of the project and also the business value that's been created. So it gives you a sense of what are the initiatives or the programs that needs to be done or the projects, okay, to handle and resolve this service design over here. And finally, we look at the target architecture of the entire landscape, okay, whereby we look at the processes that's been involved over here, okay, looking into who actually provides and receives the services, what are the business process in detail that's been taking place, the channels, what are the services being provided, and what are the data being used, and also the application. Okay. So we put everything together using the enterprise architecture approach, so that we can actually see how the business are impacted and what changes that needs to be taken place. Okay, so this is example of the customer journey view. Okay. So if you can quickly just zoom in. Okay. So you can look into the persona. Okay, graduated, is a very gadget person, doesn't have interest in the office hours working. Okay, do not own a car, doesn't have a driving license. So we create the persona, so that for this particular persona, okay, what are the necessary things that needs to be done to, be a Grab, okay, Grab service provider. So starting from, you have to prepare the asset or the budget, okay, in terms of your financials, and then you apply for a Grab driver, then you perform the operation of the Grab, and then you have the maintenance, and also you end up by terminating or ending the services as a Grab driver. So you have all these channels been taken care, okay? How actually you get the information, and then you do the application online. Then you need to have a purchase of the cars and also the insurance. Then you need to have the license, and then become the Grab driver, okay? And these are the services, okay, that's involved, okay? When you purchase, you have the car transfer ownership. So basically, it comes from the road transport department. Okay. Similarly, if you take a license, you go to the driving license. Okay. So next, we look into the capabilities. So for that particular Grab driver services, okay. So there's a driver management capability that's involved, vehicle management, okay, and also the service. That means the person who drives the car, the vehicles that's involved, and also the services. So within the driver, you have the license management and also driving skills management. Vehicle, you have the registration and also the road tax management. And for the service, okay, you might have the road complaint, traffic management, and so on. So for each of these capabilities, we derive what are the resources. Okay. So for instance, the driver management have provided by the road transport department. Okay, there's a role, okay, or a department that actually issues the driver license. Then you have the information about the training and also the license driving testing and also the information on the license itself. Then there's an application that's involved in providing these services. Okay. Similarly, for the service management, it's very much on the Kementerian Kerjaya. Okay, Kerja Raya. We talk about what are the complaints services and also the traffic services. Okay. So if all the data related to the road, the complaint about the road conditions, and also the traffic conditions, then you have the system that's actually providing. So from here, you actually can see all the relevant capabilities and the resources being used to provide these services. So this is where the enterprise architecture helps the organization in actually relating to the services from the customer journey. Okay, so this is another example for the Petani model. So Petani model has more touch points that they go through. So it's also gives you an idea. In order for you to get some services, there's a lot of interactions, okay, that's taking place with the government agencies. So offhand, you can actually get a sense that wow, there's so many, uh, going back and forth with the government agency or different government agencies to actually to get a particular service. So from there, actually, you can look into how you can actually reduce those interactions so that they can give or get the services at one single interaction, and also look into all the emotions. Okay, the one like the yellow emotion is showing that they are not too happy about the services they are getting, and we can actually do an analysis on all these services they are not very happy about. Okay. So for the Petani Modern, they have a more illustrated, a more comprehensive capability. Even they talk about the penyediaan bantuan, yeah, the aid that they are giving. They have the financial aid, they have the aid to do the farming itself. They have the skills, to develop the farmers, and also technology in the farming. So different types of aids that they need to be given, and it comes from different various, section or bagian or agencies within the government. And in coming out with the infrastructure, okay, in the farming areas, okay, they need to look into all these capabilities, the promotional activities for marketing, and also sometimes you need the license and so permit, okay, to run your business, and the marketing, whether it's domestic or going international. So these are the capabilities that's required to actually serve our petani modern, our modern farmers. Okay, so similarly, each of the capabilities here will be represented by the resources. Okay, so for instance, this is the pengairan agency or bahagian. Okay, there's a department looking into that. They have this data and also the system. So this is the beauty about the enterprise architecture linking with the enterprise architecture. So from all these challenges on the customer journey maps, we actually list down all the gaps, okay, all the areas of improvement or opportunities that can be identified to actually look into how we can redesign the services. Okay. So in this case, there's too many forms, okay, there's a limited, application channels, okay, there's too long in the counter services, certain what condition or the criteria are too tight, and many things, okay, and also the what kind of aid they need to have, and also the digital and technology. Okay. So from these activities, actually we come up with what are the possible solution. Okay, identify the cost. Okay, whether it's going to be low cost or some will be on higher cost if you want to improve the services, and we categorize them into some kind of project category or program category, and highlight what is the outcome. So the outcome from too many forms to go simplification using some digital services to reduce or make the application process very simple and smooth. Okay, up to all the flexibility to how to get aid, up to you get the marketing help, and also ultimately you become the modern farming. Okay, this is one of the problems that the government has a lot of funds, but it's not been taken up by the citizens. Okay, so by identifying all these key issues, now the agency actually can target how actually they can actually reach out all these uh, future or potential farmers or young farmers to actually to become more and more modern using the technology and make a good living, okay, a good business that will contribute to their own benefit and also the supply and demand of the uh, farmers' goods, okay, the food industry. So after identifying all these gaps and opportunity, and then you group them into some kind of projects, okay, then you plot them into a risk and business value matrix. Okay, so from here, from all those challenges that we have identified three projects. One is actually to look into the policy. So that means looking to the services needs to tweak some of the policies. Okay, so that's one initiative. Then digital farming is one huge initiative. The size of the circle shows, the cost uh, relative to the implementation, and also the promotional activities that needs to be taking place. Okay. So another example, in this case, this Bliawanis, okay, the teenager who wants to actually uh, quit the normal traditional learning into an entrepreneurship kind of career, have identified so many services that can be given to make sure that this teenager will be a very successful contributing citizen in Malaysia. Okay. So these techniques that we use to identify what are the key initiatives, and we prioritize them based on the risk and also the business value. So this will give a sense of the priority of which are the initiatives that can be done and what takes in terms of the implementation precedence and quick wins and things like that. Okay. So next, from all these services that we now plot in the new target landscape map. Okay, so here we are saying that for the first one of the processes to mencari maklumat berkaitan dengan petani moden, okay, there are new information that needs to be created, like a toolkit for petani moden, and this can be done through a website. Okay, so easily visually, actually, we can see what are the things can be added and how we actually can improve the services. Okay, so similarly, in terms of giving the financial aid, okay, or they identified that they need to have a new system to uh, manage all the grants, okay, that's been given. So when you talk about grants, there's many agencies providing the grant. So that's why when we look at these services, we need to talk to all the other agencies and see how we actually can collaborate and make them part of the ecosystem. Okay, so this is another example. Oh yeah, for the higher education. Okay, and we can say that for the intake for the higher education is done through the portal, and now they have increased, okay, more and more services to take care of all types of higher education institutes. Okay, so previously it was very much for the public universities, and now with this redesign, they have now included the matrix, the college, polytechnic, college community, and things like that. So things have been added so that they can provide better services, okay, through a one-stop center. If not, the students will be applying to many places and they'll be wishing their luck that they'll be hitting one of them. So this kind of service design actually helped with the customer journey map, looking into the key problems and how actually they overcome these problems. Okay, so this is another example. Okay, when you talk about the OKU student, OKU parents, okay, who have a child, Hana 6 years old, has an autism challenge. Okay, so how actually we can ease them, by letting them know that if you have autism, if you have an autism child, what are the kind of services or the aids or the privileges that is being given, and it goes to their doorstep instead of them needing to find out what can I do with my child, which school can I send them to, what kind of in the future career that they actually can go into, what kind of healthcare or health services that they can be given, and things like that. Okay, so that means once you have a certain situation, the government services now actually reaching up to you. Okay, instead of you going and applying here and there. So that is one of the transformation or the service redesign that's taking place when we do the customer journey and using the EA approach. Here we talk about the obesity, okay, situation. Where obesity, although it's an issue on the health, but it begins all at the education level itself. So here's where the health ministry and the education ministry need to collaborate, okay, and start the journey from the early child, uh, when the child is at the early stage, to give them the awareness and also keeping track of the uh, the child's uh, health. Okay, so now you can see that there is also measurements when they actually take the child's weight and height to see whether what is the BMI index even from the school. Okay, so that in the future when this child grows up, he will be more healthier, and so that we can reduce the obesity issue, so that it will so here they have also identified they need to have a integrated monitoring system. Okay, and this monitoring system with the new technology now, actually you can have drones, you can have all these IoTs actually to monitor and then give the real time progress of the projects. So in summary, what we can say is that the customer journey is it's an excellent tool, okay, for us to engage the business and also the customers and blend them together with the IT people. Okay, so we find that business people feels very easy and very engaged and very active in this kind of sessions. And customer experience are looked into the outside out. Okay, look at the holistic view and from the perspective of the business ecosystem. So it actually helps you to identify the end-to-end services and all the relevant parties that's involved to give the services to the citizens or the recipients. Then using the digital EA, okay, that gives you a structured and a systematic approach to design the target digital services or even the services. And finally, the outcome, the realization of the business, okay, the realization of the customer journey is very much focused on the business value and the benefits outcome. So here, one of the key important thing is to actually have the wow factor, the differentiating of the transformation, whereby previously we apply for the housing. Now those who needs the house is been given to them. Okay, rumah cari kerja, kerja cari orang. In terms of the employability, the placement. When somebody needs some kind of health service, it comes to them. Okay, bantuan cari orang. Okay, okay, all the grant that it's given to the relevant people. Okay, the scholarships finds the student, and also the bantuan or the kerajaan giving out all these funds and so on to the needy people is given automatically. So that is one of the wow factor that's been identified, and slowly we can see some of these things are actually taking place. Okay, from this kind of workshops, from the customer journey, and using the enterprise architecture. So moving forward, I can see that we now need to move to another level to look into the holistic view of the government running the business of providing the services throughout all the live events using the technology and so on. Okay, so with that, I end my presentation.